All right, everybody up here, follow along, okay? So I guess the depreciation, we already did that. So now we're just gonna go over this chart. I guess the one thing you need to watch out for is finding percentage of base to determine the transportation cost. And this is what we did the very first day, right? Like percentage of a number, right? You got to turn that into a decimal and then get your dollar amount there. And every time you need to make sure you subtract the trade-in. In this case, there was no trade-in. That I'm just having that as a, spot holder. That's all it is. But these are the amounts you're supposed to have received there. So the one thing I want you to, can somebody get that door for him there? Okay. One thing I want you to add here is taxes only. If it's taxes only that they're asking you for, you got to multiply by 0.12. Okay? If a question ever does that, you need to multiply by 0.12. I know I did mention that on a question before, but it doesn't hurt to have a reminder down the road. Okay? Did somebody knock on that door? Or did I just hear? I'm just hearing things? Okay. Yeah. Don't do the under your desk. I know that one. Okay. So I need you to follow along and don't be having conversations because it distracts me, okay? And people want to follow along. So if you made a mistake, no big deal. Just make the corrections. So here, right, you're buying a new car. The base price is that. There's delivery and freight. I know it's still you have to pay for both of them. There's the option of leather seats. What's the car after tax? Always read carefully. What is it asking you for? Is it asking you for sticker price? Is it asking you for taxes only or everything included, right? Like you gotta just make sure you watch out. That's what I'm gonna do quite often on little quizzes. Make sure you read carefully. Okay, so you have all of those components that you of course have to add up. There's nothing we need to subtract. So you just multiply by 1.12. Okay, and then so this turns out to be 26,665.75. You multiply that by 1.12, you get 29,865.64. Okay, so that's the price after tax. Okay, so that's it. A car is purchased with a base price of 27,800. The new owner opts to have rust proofing and undercoating for 750. They just want the taxes paid. So in this case, you take your base price, you add in this case, the option of undercoating, and you will only multiply this by 0.12, not 1.12. That's the thing you need to watch out for here. And so that ends up being 34.26 taxes only. Okay, so taxes only, here it is again. You gotta watch out for that when I quiz you, when I test you. Don't just do the same thing over and over, right? I'm making sure you understand what we're doing. 5. If your name ends up being in one of my booklets, it's just coincidental, right? So don't take it personal. Jenna orders a new Honda Civic, right? 22,000. Adds an entertainment package, navigation package, freight. There's a trade-in for 6,500. Total cost after tax. I'm going to add a few things here later. Okay, so we start with the base price. And of course, you'd have to pay for all the things that you're adding, right? This right here would be called a sticker price, right? If I stop there, we're going to take away the trade-in, and all of that gets multiplied by 1.12. Okay? And so if you compute this, you get 19,725, and you multiply that by 1.12, your total is 22,092. This is what the question is after. Your answer would be different if you subtract the 6,500 after, right? You need to do that before, okay? Very important. Let's change this to Manitoba here for question 6. He's buying a snowmobile, so any vehicle, same steps apply, right? Purchase price is 11,023. Trade in 3,200. How much do you pay after tax? Okay. And so that's 8761.76 that you would pay there. Let's do an aside here. Write this down. Taxes only, right? You would go 7823 times 0.12. And if you multiply these two, you get 938.76. That's not what the question is asking, but I like to add here and there. Okay. Okay. Last question, and then we're gonna add some notes to that blank page on page 2 there. Heidi buys a new vehicle with a base price of 25,600. Okay. She adds power lock for 150, power steering 250, transmission 395. Freight costs 8% of the base price, and there's a trade-in for 9,000. How much will she pay for the new vehicle? So I will find out what freight is, which is 8% of the base price. Okay. So when you multiply these two, you get 2,048. So that step should have been somewhere on that paper. Okay. So then you add the 25,600 plus any options that show up, plus the 395, plus the 2,048, minus the 9,000, all of that multiplied by 1.12. So you get 19,443 multiplied by 1.12. You get 21,776.16 after tax. Okay, and so this answers these questions for buying brand new. Any questions on this? Anything I need to clarify? We're good? We're good so far? Yeah, okay. Can you go back to page 3 where you have the definitions, notes, examples? Okay. Okay. James. The cost of the vehicle. Write this down on page 3, okay? Cost of the vehicle. The options. And additional charges are summarized below. So base price, um, so write this down. I'm going to make a table out of that. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you can see the table and the questions. So I'm going to read it in case you can't calculate the sticker price. That's A. B, determine the total cost after tax. C, this is Monday stuff, right? If the car depreciates 15% per year, determine the value after 2 years. And I don't like to, not a curveball just yet, but this is, it's, you take the base price always. Okay? For depreciation, you will never have to add taxes or anything like that. You just take the base price for depreciation, okay? Okay. So a question like this, what I don't want to see is just an answer, right? We need to have our numbers as you would add them up or subtract. I want to see that. So this is our last example before we go today, okay? I'm going to work through that with you just to make sure you understand, especially the depreciation, right? So A, the sticker price, we would just add all the options. Plus, watch this, the wheels, right? You're buying 4 at $295 each, right? So you add base plus all the options. Oh, I didn't do the freight. It's not there, we ignore it, okay? I had it on my original, but not here. That's okay. So then you got to, for the sticker price, this is all you would do. So let's come up with that total. So I'm going to have to run this through my calculator as well. And the rounding is what I'm after here. And it's really, and this is what some people pay, right, for a vehicle. So 70,980.98. That's it for A. That's the sticker price. So C sticker price as this is everything, no tax, no trade-in, right? The sticker price, you can actually build off of that. And so for B, determine the cost after tax, I can just borrow the answer I got in A, take away the trade-in, and I will tax this 1.12. So that's 43,479.99 times 1.12. 48,697.5 rounding, 5/8, right? So that third 8 bumps that 8 to a 9, right? And let's see if I can, I'm going to use this corner here for depreciation. Careful, right? Right now there's a lot of numbers there. Which one do you use? You use your base price way up there. So you got to go year 1, 61,299.99 times 0.15. And you get 9,194.99. Oh, I'm actually gonna have to round to 95 because this 8 bumps that to a 10, 10. This will be a 5. So it's 91, 95. Even. That's what I'm losing the first year. Subtract that. Year 2. You multiply that by 15%, you lose 7,815.75 on the second year. So now I want you to think a little bit outside the box. To get the final value, if I just subtract this from that, I will get the value after, right? You used to add these two up and subtract it from the original, but you can actually just take this here as well. Subtract it like that. Minus 7815.75. And so your final value after the 2 years would be this. Value after 2 years. Does that make sense? Yeah, I just want to go home. Right? Our stomachs are grumbling. Hold on. Hold on. Can you go back with me to page? I know you're thinking, when is it ever done, right? Can you go back to page 1? And just somewhere here, always use base price. Page 1, that first example there, always use, I don't know if you want to circle it, because when you have a question like we just did, which is going to be common, you might be tempted to pick the one after tax maybe, right? And it depreciates on that, but we always go base price.